Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Sacred Exchange, where souls meet, hearts transform, and love leads the way. I'm Catherine.
And I'm John.
And we are here today to talk to you guys about focusing on the bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
Yes.
Should be a very good, very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
So, in terms of big picture, I mean, there's plenty of ways we can look at things, right? It all depends, we can look at a picture. We can look at individual lives. We can look at collective lives. We can look at the globe.
Yeah.
There's many big pictures and different perceptions.
Absolutely. And I think when we were talking about focusing on a bigger picture or focusing on the big picture, I know for myself when I started on my journey, it was very much about what is the big picture for me? Like, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want to create for myself? And when I first started on the spiritual journey and learning how to manifest and the law of attraction and all of these things, it was very empowering in the sense that it's you can create your big picture, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And then what I found through the years, because I've learned how to manifest things and whatnot, but it's fulfilling for the moment or for the year or whatever. And it was only in the past couple of years that instead of manifesting now, it's what is my big picture? What is it that my soul is here to do? And how can I serve humanity now? How can I serve God now in a way that is going to use whatever experiences that I've had, whatever knowledge that I have in the utmost way for the big picture of kind of the universe? So I think for all of us, it starts off as a very individualized process of what do I want my life to look like? But I don't know, in my journey, it just became not so much about just me. It became more, what is God essentially wanting to use me for?
Mm-hmm. How can you be the witness, or what does that look like, right? I think that big picture, I mean, when we think of a picture, we think of the frame, it's pretty hard set, right? This is what a picture looks like. It's got a frame, it's got four sides, and I think what we're talking about is the big picture, but it not having that rigidness.
Yeah.
Right? Is that picture's always evolving, the picture's always changing. And it's what are you being called to do?
Yeah.
And how does that look? And how's that little picture, it's like a mosaic, right? So you have your little piece.
Yeah.
Your little, whatever, your experience, your contribution to the big picture, and that just is a little piece of the mosaic that the rest of the world completes in that big picture.
Yeah, because we all have that part of us that we can bring, right? And it's so uniquely beautiful, just how many gifts every single person has and how they can contribute that to this grander mosaic that we're building.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to not be rigid and not see the big picture as these four sides and this is how it has to look. I know that there's a lot of people that have this idea of this is what life looks like.
Yeah.
This is what I'm supposed to do. This is how it's supposed to be. This is the picture. And it has to be the picture forever and always, right? And I think we all just need to have a little more willingness to understand that is not the case.
Yeah.
The picture has to change. You have to evolve. You have to continue to add to the picture and grow as we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a very big picture. It wouldn't be very interesting, right? If you take it back to what we were saying, is what is the purpose? What is my purpose here? What am I being called to do? I mean, that picture continually changes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because there's different threads that you kind of start to pull in, or there's different things that you're kind of inspired to look into more deeply, or inspired to learn about, or whatever, which then adds new layers to the picture that you're creating, which then gives you more to contribute to the world.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know what, that picture is not complete, and we get set in certain ways where it's like, oh, this isn't perfect, or this isn't good enough, or whatever, and we try to force whatever. We try to force, say when you're painting and you don't get this line just perfect, we'll get out a ruler and we'll make it straight. Well, sometimes that's just not the way things work, right? It's meant to be that way. It's meant to be not perfect.
Yeah.
That is part of the picture. Like, everything is inclusive. And like the good times, the bad times, all of those things. Like, you can't have this, I'll just use a family portrait, for example. And everybody's smiling and everybody's, because mom or whoever has said, hey, if you don't smile, la 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 la. But that's not really the big picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like a small snapshot of who each person is with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily show the kind of the chaos or the layers in the relationships or the personality of every single person or yeah, because we're just getting those little moments in time.
Yeah, we do get stuck on this perfectionism of this has to be this way.
Yeah.
At a certain age, I have to be done doing this, or I have to have done that, or whatever the case may be. And it's really just a fallacy that's been created for
That sounds so depressing.
for whatever the case may be. But
yeah.
How does it sound depressing?
No, just the way you're saying it. You just have to do this. But it is the truth though too, right? Like, there's so many societal ideas of what, by the time you're 25, you should be done with your post-secondary education and you should be in a relationship and on your way to engagement if you're not already engaged. And by the time you're 30, you should be married and you should have children and you should be well on your way with your career. And by the time you're 50, you should have a decent retirement package. So by the time you're 65, you can absolutely retire and then finally start to live your life. Like, that's kind of the trajectory that we're given.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the picture. And then, if a kid doesn't go to college, then sometimes parents are like, ugh, this child should have went to college or whatever. And there's so many intricate ways that we can go in life. And I think there's an important piece with seeing the big picture is like, when, especially as parents raising children, it's like remembering, and I had a hard time with this when the kids were small, but remembering like the schooling doesn't actually matter.
Yep.
It matters, but it doesn't, and when they're out in the workforce, no one's going to care whether or not they got straight A's or if they were an honor student or whatever. It's like these things only carry for so long. What is the bigger picture? What is the mental health? What is the emotional regulation? Like, these are all a part of that bigger picture. But I think we kind of focus in on the experiences as being, this is the biggest picture that is going on right now.
Yeah.
Or even with the individual across from us, we're going, this is who they are right now. But we don't see what is the big picture around them that is creating everything that they are right now. Every response, every reaction, all of that is like, there's a much bigger picture that's happening around you right now that I can see. But I also see a lot more of the bigger picture than what, say, someone walking down the street might see about you.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing is not holding others to be that way or a certain way, right? You know what I'm saying? If we're looking at the bigger picture, and this just came when you were saying about, like, I could see you and have this big picture, or where some of your things come from, or whatever. I think it's for us to remember that about everybody is they've all got this story
Yeah.
that has created or has got them to where they are. And just having that, again, willingness to, they can be whatever they want to be. Their picture can look however the picture wants to look today. And at the same way that you have to be okay with the picture, I don't necessarily being blank, but not being complete, right?
Yeah.
Like we very much are in a society that does focus a lot on perfectionism, where it's like, no, this has got to be a certain way, and things have to be complete and they have to be whatnot. But again, life isn't perfect, and we just need to have compassion for people and their journeys.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I've been reading a lot of the Course in Miracles this week and last week and stuff, and it does talk about this idea of we think we're special. We think the way we see the world is the best way to see the world, right? And anybody who shows up in our field that's living life differently than what we are, that is expressing themselves differently than we are, we can kind of get this idea of they're wrong and I'm right, and they need to do it my way. And it's so disillusioned, you know, and I can see where I've had patterns of this in my life where it's like, no, I'm right. The way I'm seeing it is correct, and the way you're seeing it is incorrect, and you should really see it my way. And it's, again, it's so disillusioned to think that I would know what's best for you, or that you would know what's best for me, although sometimes also that's true.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we need someone to reflect a bigger picture to us than what we can see for ourselves. And also we need to give everyone permission to live life on their terms, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
To know that they're all operating on that same divinity that we're all operating on. If they're disconnected from it, if they've forgotten it, if they don't want to even work with it, whatever, that's not up to us to worry about. But it's just remembering everybody's divine. Everybody's a part of this even bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know, their soul is here for a reason.
You're just part of this mosaic, right?
Yeah.
And it is, don't get me wrong when I say it's not perfect. I mean, it's perfectly not perfect. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That picture, as it is, where it is at that current moment, is as perfect as it's ever going to be.
Yeah.
But it's okay that it's not looking like somebody else's picture, because that's not the way it should be.
Yeah.
Like, we should all have our own uniqueness to our picture.
Yeah.
But it's still part of that mosaic that creates the bigger picture that binds us together and reinforces that oneness.
Absolutely. Well, I just think of like nature, right? And it's like nature is so perfect. It creates itself. It creates life forms for other beings. It all just works so perfectly. Even like the worms, the way they eat the dirt and the way they fertilize, and how the leaves fertilize the soil that's going to give the roots what they need in order for the tree to grow, for more leaves to come. Like it's all so perfect. And yet if you look closely at nature, it's actually very chaotic. Like there's
lots going on.
There is so much going on.
But it's perfectly balanced, as you said.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's one, too, is one thing that we separate ourselves from that world.
Yeah.
And we're like, we need to remember we are part of that world.
Yeah. Well, I remember like way back, and it was actually like when we first started dating, and I was talking to a life coach in California. I don't even remember what his name was, but I talking to him about becoming a life coach, and he was saying the first thing you have to do, like on your own journey, is to remember your own true nature. And that most of us will seek these questions or these answers outside of ourselves, thinking someone else is going to hold this answer or whatnot. And he's like, if you go to the bottom of the ocean and you find a crab there, and you say to the crab, how do you know, like, How are you living the purpose of a crab? How do you know what to do? And
Yeah.
it's like the crab just does what a crab does, right? A person can just do what the person does. And to understand that's your true nature.
Yeah.
It's the things that you're called to do. Like, you know, the crab walks around with its little crab hands and he just kind of goes like this, but he's able to pick things up. He's able to do these things. But nobody's told him how.
Yeah.
You know?
And does a crab even think he's a crab, right? Like,
yeah, are you aware that you're a crab? And do you go, am I a good crab?
Yeah.
Am I doing the best crabby job that a crab can do? Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it goes to, like, one of my favorite quotes for the longest time was aerodynamically, the bumblebee can't fly, but it doesn't know that, so it keeps flying anyways. And I always loved that quote when I was younger. And I thought, like, just imagine if someone said to the bumblebee, you can't fly, and then suddenly the bumblebee's like, ugh, I guess I can't fly. And, like, we wouldn't have all of these pollinators and everything like that. And then I found out that, I think it was in the 90s, science caught up. And they're like, oh, actually, aerodynamically, it makes sense that the bumblebee can fly. Like, we just didn't think aerodynamics worked in that way. And it's like, can you imagine if back in the 1920s when this quote first came out, if the bumblebee heard that and was like, I guess I can't fly, I have to walk everywhere. But it was only because science hadn't caught up. Yeah. And, like, so technically the bumblebee was a pioneer in aerodynamics, right? It came in perfectly. And even though everyone else was going, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you shouldn't be able to do this, the bumblebee was able to do it. And as someone who's been very influenced by what other people's thoughts and opinions are of me, I hold on to that quote quite a bit.
I think that is a great quote, but I think that is more about our belief system, where, you know, it's kind of saying, you know, if we are told that we can't do these things, we are limited to the things that we can do. Mm-hmm. If we approach life and we approach the picture or everything in general and as in a limitless mindset, where it's like, I'm not going to follow those rules.
Yeah.
How much more, you know, how far along could we be?
Oh, absolutely.
What, you know, and there's a lot of undoing. I know you and I are working through a lot of that undoing of, and it's not undoing, I guess. I'm going to look at it a different way. It's evolving.
Yeah.
I know I say I started with undoing, but that just sounds very like...
It makes it sound like what we learned was incorrect.
Right.
And it's like it was correct for a period of time, but it no longer applies.
Yeah. And more and more I looked at nature and what is nature doing and how does nature evolve, right?
Yeah.
Not mankind. Mankind evolves and sometimes follows the nature and whatnot, but we also have this perfectionism mindset where we're above nature and we're better than, and it's like, no, we gotta remember, we gotta humble ourselves and watch what they're doing.
Yeah, well, it goes back to that whole idea of specialness, right? Yeah. That, yes, we're special in the fact that we have a consciousness and we're able to communicate with words that we understand, and, you know, we have this high intelligence, opposable thumbs, all of these, like, wonderful things, but it doesn't, and there's nothing there that says that makes you better than.
Yeah.
You know, because you can sit and watch nature and just be in nature and see how it's not in conflict with itself.
Yeah.
And then we can look at humans and go, oh, there's a lot of conflict that's here. And again, it's just that attachment to the specialness of...
Yeah, nature doesn't judge itself, right?
Yeah.
You know, like the water doesn't judge the sky or vice versa. They just coexist together and function how they need to function. The water's not worried what the sky is doing. I mean, the sky is not worried about what the water is doing. Yeah. They just do what they do.
And yet they both reflect each other.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And I think that's another huge part of the holding on to the vision of the big picture is it is about, you can reflect out to others what it is you want them to remember about themselves, right? Or have them reflect back to you what you want to remember about yourself, because even like when we're in that kind of specialness mindset of going, I'm better than this person because look at the way they just turned that corner, that was awful.
Yeah.
And to remember like, oh, there's been times where I've been an awful driver too.
You learned not to take the corner that way.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You learned, this is the way that you have to turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's just kind of, you can have humor, you can have some understanding for that person and their erratic way of turning the corner. Perhaps they're a young person. I remember teaching some of our kids how to drive. The way they took corners was like, oh, shoot, okay, slow down or speed up a little bit, depending on the kid. It's having that remembrance that everybody's at different stages of this learning, or everybody's at different stages of knowing how to turn corners or whatever. And even now, after many years of driving, there's still times I make mistakes, and I'm sure I've pissed some people off, and I'm sure I've been cursed at and whatnot for what my driving skills are, as I've also done to other people. And I only use that as an example because it's kind of a universal experience that we've all had, where we see drivers that we're like, oh, can you believe they would do that? And it's like, yeah, and we've also all done it. Yeah. We've all forgotten to turn a blinker on. We've all realized the lane is ending and we're like, oh, I got to get over or whatever. So, so we're special, but we're not so special that we're all perfect drivers all the time. Yeah. Or that we're all perfect people all of the time.
Yeah, we're all learning. We're all constantly learning. And some of us have learned these lessons through different paths and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, and those people that haven't are about to take that path or may be taking that path in the future.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, right? But yeah, I think it is a big thing of holding that patience for people and being like, hey, you're perfectly where you need to be. And I remember being there.
Yeah.
And it's all right.
Yeah. Well, and I think like as parents, we can do this as we're looking at our kids. Like we remember the ages that they're at and kind of remember the emotional standpoint, the mental load and whatnot. But I also feel like once we are adults or we're in adult bodies, we start to believe that everybody should be at this kind of like threshold. They should just know.
Yeah.
And I laugh at us, like when we first started dating and stuff, and the things that we knew then, and we really thought we were quite advanced for what we knew. Yeah. And now we look back at what we knew then, we're like, oh.
Yeah. Wow, look at look at how innocent we were.
Yes, yeah. And I think that's the important piece too, is like not look at how ignorant we were or look at how stupid we were or anything. It's like, look at how innocent we were. Mm-hmm. Look at the thoughts that were shaping us and look at how much we've evolutionized over this period of time, and look at the learning that we've decided that no longer applies to me, right? Yeah. Or that was a tiny piece of the information that can apply to me, but actually there's a much bigger picture that's available to me now.
That was evolving, right? And that's actually, it's a good point, is, the picture in life as we live evolves. And you and I have talked about this, where these little breadcrumbs or these little signs, right? And sometimes those signs and those things that we take for granted or don't pay attention to are building to something.
Yeah.
Right? It could be a sign of like, you did this for whatever in your life. I'll give the example of when I worked in the culinary business. Yeah. Did it go anywhere? Yeah. I mean, I made a lot of good friends. I attained a lot of good skills. It was a great business to be in.
Did it go anywhere? And I'm like, it went in my belly. That's he makes delicious food.
But what I'm saying, it's these little things, and that's kind of a big thing, I guess, is like we just kind of, okay, well, that was a time in my life. No, but it's adding to that picture, right?
Yeah.
And if you take it on like a micro scale where it's like, okay, remember that note that you wrote back when you were 6 years old? Mm. And then you can reflect on that and go, oh, that did kind of guide something through to where I am now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I can look back at my restaurant days too, and I was a young kind of 15-year-old stepping into the restaurant business as a waitress, and kind of awkward, very shy, and like I wasn't very confident in talking to people. But when you're put in that situation where you have to talk to people and you're talking to strangers and all this sort of stuff, I could go, yeah, I wasted, 7 years being a waitress, but actually what I did was I was learning how to communicate with people. I was learning how to make people feel comfortable. I was learning how to serve, even though it was just food. I was learning to listen to what are people's needs here. How can I best bring them everything and I'm like literally it was the best job for me to have to prepare for what I do now.
Yes.
So
the big thing goes to the transferable skills, right?
Yeah.
So they're all additive skills that we're just building on, and we're building to that picture.
Yeah. And
sometimes we don't know why. Hey, why did this happen in my life? Why did this bad thing happen or whatever? But later on, that may come back and go, oh, that's why this happened, because this was a piece. I didn't want it to be a piece, but it had to be there to complete that picture.
Yeah. And in a lot of the like divine feminine teachings and stuff like that, they talk about these initiations that happen, right? And it's like the initiation is like that really tough time. So like my dad's passing, that would have been my initiation into the spirit world. But I didn't see it as initiation. I seen it as life is happening to me, and I'm collapsing and my heart is breaking and I'm in this darkness or whatever. But it's like really an invitation or an initiation from the spirit world to go, okay, and there's purpose in this, right? And it's not what you want. We get that. This hurts, this is hard, this is bad, whatever. But your soul needs this experience right now as an initiation into the work that you're going to be doing.
It's for the greater, right? It's for the greater picture or the greater good or the greater collective that, we...
And it's hard to see that. Like when you're facing like the adverse challenges and stuff, it is really hard to see that there's a bigger picture, that there's purpose to this. And not that we're here to suffer, because I truly don't believe we are. But the suffering does come in that resistance to how life is showing up, and we're going, this is not what I want. Yeah. Right?
It's not. Yeah,
I did not order this.
It's not what we prefer.
Yeah.
But and all of those things. I mean, can you imagine a world where everything happened as you preferred?
Well, and here's the thing.
It would be, I don't know, it would get boring.
Well, it would get. Do you remember the MASH game? Like when you're a kid, where you're like write MASH at the top, and then the 4 crushes, and how many kids, and the cars, and whatever. And how much you wanted some of that stuff to be true. Yeah. You're like, I want to marry this guy, and we're going to have 15 kids. We're going to live in a shack, but drive a Lamborghini, right? Yeah. It's like, so think about that. In that moment, it's like, that would be perfect. That would be the greatest life. Now, if that became a reality, right? But you'd have all these different realities that were happening all at the same time, because you're like, this is what I want in this moment. Right. And I think that's another piece too of the bigger picture is it's removing yourself from what do I want in this moment, right? Like what is that instant reward to what is the reward that I want over time? And that was something else I had to face myself in the mirror and look at that, of those instant kind of results, and look at what is the bigger picture. And am I willing to let go of instant results so that I can step into the bigger picture of what I'm being called to and what I'm envisioning? Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, to me, what I was just thinking about is almost from a 4D perspective, right? So you're stepping away from that 3D plane of looking at it just like a linear progression, or like this is what I want, blah blah blah, blah, and looking at it from an aerial view of all that is, and saying, okay, well, this is maybe not what I want from now, but I see that how it plays out, that there is purpose for this. and that's okay. And I think it's great because it's just having that understanding, good, bad, indifferent, and the things that we label as good, bad, and different are just that, right? They're just things that are happening.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's sometimes the hardest thing for us to realize is that these things they're just happening.
Oh.
It's not because of you. You're not a horrible person and now you've got these horrible things happening to you and you're being punished and you know, you have to, I don't know, donate your blood and sacrifice 10 animals or anything like that to kind of atone for your sins or whatever. That life just lifes. It just is what it is. And I know that pisses people off sometimes, but I've heard a lot of people have resistance to the statement, it is what it is. Yeah. But to me, it's like as soon as you attach meaning to something like a vehicle breaking down and you're like, oh, this sucks, you know, my vehicle broke down and it's going to cost this much and I'm going to have to take it to the garage and they're always dishonest and they always do this and whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, that can be true. But also, it just is what it is. Your vehicle broke down. It needs to get fixed. It's going to cost money. And now you have to take it to the garage. Like, it can just be that simple that it doesn't need to be a kind of moment.
Well, and you bring a good point because, you know, a lot of people, and I've been there, and I think you've been there as well, is you get stuck in these things, right? Where it's like, oh, the car broke down. And, well, this always happens to me. You know, and then you ever go to pay for the car to get fixed and you don't have enough money. Oh, yeah, see, because everything is against me. And you get sucked into this and this negative state of, you know, everything is horrible, but it's not. It just is happening. Yeah.
And I mean, you've been really great at like calling me out on that. Like when I am like in a state of like, you know, I'm so dramatic. Like, I notice that after I have a dramatic episode, but you know, you'll feel the stress of something or the pressure of something, and I do go into this always happens. It's always, and it's never like, oh, this is happening right now in this moment. This always happens to me. It's always like this, and whatever. And you actually call me out because you go, always?
Wow.
Is it always? Every single time? And sometimes I'm like, fuck. But it's good because it is that good reflector to go, right, it isn't every single day, every single second. It's not always, right?
But it's hard when you're in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you know, here we go again. But I think what we have to keep in mind is the more we focus on that, the more we're going to pull that into our field, right? The more we go and say, oh, this is always the way. Okay. It's like, you know, you and I were talking about words having meaning and spell casting and whatnot.
Yeah.
As soon as you start talking like that, the universe goes, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
You want more of that? Sure, here you go. And
oh, you liked that, did you?
You talked about it so much and you got so passionate, and that passion may be anger.
Yes.
But, the universe says this is what you obviously like this because you're talking about it so much.
Well, and I think that's such a great point is that when you're fueled with that anger or with that like big energy and you're spewing out words, like how quickly that can actually manifest into your reality. And it's, to me, it's not that you wanted it that badly. It's the energy in which you're expressing it. It's like it kind of is a tidal wave. It's just like,
I think it's very easy for negative things to flow.
Yes.
Like I think.
Well, and there's such a bigger charge to them too.
Well, it attaches easy, and just you see it everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's much harder to get up into a positive state and to maintain a positive state and to speak with as much energy and with as much conviction as what a person does when they're in a state of anger.
Yeah.
right? Like when they're angry, it's like, I am justified in my anger, and I'm going to speak this with conviction.
100 different ways why this is wrong.
Yes.
It's like, it just is. It's not even right or wrong. It just is.
Yes. And then to hold on to, because I know I've struggled with that, where it's like, I'm trying to hold this vision of love, and I'm walking on the edges of my love, and I'm trying to tell everybody love is the way. Yeah. And then they'll throw things at me, not literally, but they'll throw things at me and go, well, how is this love? And they become they're, in whatever state that they're in. And anything that you try and express as love, they don't necessarily receive it because they're in that kind of fight energy. Yeah. And so I do find myself struggling with holding on to the conviction of love in the face of whatever challenges people might be in. And yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm going to say 100%. It is difficult we all get triggered. We all get emotional about different things. And, we're having this conversation. We practice these things, but it's not like we get it right all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's times where it's like, nope, that whatever triggered you back in the day is now triggering you now, and it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
But there's other great times where we recognize it, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this just happened. Or it happened and loving the fact that it happened, and if it's a good, bad thing, or whatever, it still is difficult sometimes, right?
Oh, 100%. 100. And here's the thing, is we've been privileged enough to be able to do some healing courses, to be able to have books that we were able to read from, to be able to even just have each other where we're in a state where we can bounce these ideas off of each other on a regular basis. Yeah. And the privilege of having enough safety within our relationship to be able to talk about the hard things. And not everybody has access to that, yeah. Right? And so when I think back to us, say 18 and a half years ago or whatever, and where we thought we really knew and whatnot, right? But we didn't have access to the books at that time. We didn't have awareness that the books even existed, or that these courses even existed, or even some of the people that have taught us along the way that they even existed, yeah. Right? Yeah. And so it's come in, and where we're at now, where we're able to kind of notice, oh, that's ego. Oh, isn't that interesting? That's coming up, or whatever. It's because of all of these little pieces along the way that has allowed us to get to this kind of understanding that we have now, for the most part. It's the 80-20 rule. We get it right 80% of the time, and we get it absolutely wrong 20% of the time. So, yeah, which is better than 20% right and 80% wrong. So.
But yeah, and the hard times are hard things, or like when some things are, I don't want to say bad or hard, but like when things are challenging, right? Like money, because a lot of people struggle with money, especially nowadays, or death in a family or whatever. They are hard, but those lessons are so important. Those things, it's so impactful. Yeah. And it doesn't really make sense in that moment.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's where it's so important to just be able to hold space for where people are at. Like when you're going through a really hard, challenging time like that, you can speak to people with all these kind of spiritual terms and stuff like that. But a lot of times it's like, no, it doesn't make sense. Like,
it doesn't change. I have no money in the bank.
Yeah, exactly. And yet, it's also so important to challenge those thoughts. Like if you've got no money in the bank, then it's like, okay, well, what can I do to start to generate money? Not, well, money can't come from that way and it can't come from that way. And it's actually, Jeff Bezos' fault that I have no money, because look at how rich he is and he's taken this money. And like we can create a lot of limiting thoughts around it, or we can go, okay, so where do I have the potential for money? And I remember like when I was working the call service for Capital One, and they told us like, you're not supposed to tell someone who's in debt, who's like, I can't pay for this, that it was against our rules to say, well, do you have some old CDs you can sell? Can you have a garage sale? Can you ask, you're not supposed to tell them to try and find sources of money, but it is actually something that happens a lot with credit collectors, that they will tell people, well, sell this. Oh, you have a home? Well, then you should just sell the home to pay off this debt or whatever it might be. But the whole reason that I'm saying this is...
We're getting there.
But the whole reason I'm saying this is because when there's been times where we've been broke, the only thing that has ever helped us, in my mind, is my mind getting creative about where is the money going to come from. Yeah. Right? Because I could sit and look at the bank account day after day after day and see it's $0 in there. Or it's like I've done babysitting. I've done a garage sale.
You've had numerous different side quests or side businesses.
100%.
With your business and whatnot.
And even within my business, there's been all these different ideas and stuff. And not that it's just all about money. It's what is something I can provide to people and receive money for at the same time, which has always been something that's so beneficial. But everybody can do this, right? You have to have a mind of what else is possible instead of just accepting it as it is and going, this is all it is.
Yeah. And I think we lose, I agree. And I think it is definitely a mindset thing that we both, sure, we have had struggles. We've had times where one will be like, oh, this is doom and gloom. And the other one's going, oh, come on, let's go. Here, get on my back. Let's walk. But I think, fortunately for us, we both.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, it doesn't happen at the same time. Right?
Yeah.
And I think as we dig deeper into ourselves and into our emotions and ego and all this fun spiritual stuff that we're doing, some of the conversations about just the odds, being grateful, regardless of if we have no money, the grateful or the appreciation we have that we're here together, that we have this, that of all the odds of just our existence on this planet is a great thing. It's something to be grateful for.
Absolutely.
So if you have nothing, remember you're still existing. You're still here. You still...
Which means you have purpose.
There's... Yeah.
You're here for a reason.
You won the lottery. Although, everybody wants to win the money in the lottery. You won the lottery. You made it here.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's hard, when the bills are piling up and you need to get groceries and you've got $0 in the bank account or whatever.
The real world, yes.
Yes, in the real world, it can be really hard to just be grateful for your existence, right? Which actually sounds ludicrous even as I say it, but sometimes it's it feels like it would be easier if I didn't exist, or if my house didn't exist, or if these bills didn't exist, everything would be easier. But it's all proof that you're alive.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's what I think. What I was going with that, it absolutely is difficult, but it is, if you can at least be grateful for something in the times that everything is wrong or seems wrong, it can start to change that other stuff that's around you, right?
Oh, absolutely.
All of a sudden you have this windfall, or you figure it out, or you have this thing this idea that pops into your head that how you can generate income. It starts promoting that willingness of that flow. Now you're not this block of ice, you're the water that flows to wherever it needs to go to do what it needs to do.
Yeah. There's that one poem that was circulated on social media a few years ago. I don't remember what the name of the poem is, and I'm not going to be able to quote it, but the idea of it was essentially when I can't get a parking spot at the front of the store, I'm grateful because I have legs that I can walk. Yeah. And when my sink is full of dishes, I'm grateful because it means my kids ate today. And when the house is a mess, It means that there's people that are living in this house with me.
Yeah.
And when the hydro bill comes, it means that, you know, we had hydro, we had heat, we had the ability to record a podcast.
Well, you
or
have
whatever.
a dwelling that has the ability to have these things.
Yeah,
right?
and it was like taking everything that we're often like,
Yeah.
you know, and just turning it into that state of like, what does this mean? Oh, I have 2 legs I can walk on. Wow. Not everybody does, right?
Yeah.
And like when you can kind of shift it just enough to realize like just how privileged you are.
Mm-hmm.
It really just shifts the mindset.
And with the mindset, that starts attracting things into your field, right?
Yeah.
That aren't so negative. Sometimes it, doesn't work out that way. Sometimes there's still a bit there, or there's still things. But yeah, I would agree that the more grateful you are for these little things,
Yeah.
it does help to change that, even your perception of what those negative things are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A bad day doesn't look like such a bad day anymore.
Yeah. Well, and it's even like one of the teachings, and I've done so much like abundance mindset work, and I don't remember who taught me this, otherwise I'd be shouting them out right now. But essentially it was like when you open a bill and you see the number on the bill, you just say, I'm so grateful I've got the money to pay for this bill. Where my previous kind of reaction to that, we'd get the hydro bill and I'd be like, it's this much money. Or you even like just take it out of the mailbox and you go, oh God, I don't even know what's inside this yet, but what is the amount of money that it's going to be? And to just be in that energy of gratitude of, I've got this bill.
And it's funny because I never worry about bills, right?
Yeah, I know you don't.
I know that they're there. I know things cost money, and I'm like, but
yeah, you're kind of
I'm
detached
just
from
like, it's either going to get paid or it's not, and then what's going to happen? Like, and this is not new. This is not something that is just in the last month or something. This is the way I've been.
This way, yeah.
Do I care? Yeah, I care that things need to get paid, and there's value, and I get all that. But at the end of the day, like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. We're going to, life will still go on. It's not the end.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being bombarded by a number of different things where it's like, you start getting all worked up, and it's like, hey, this is not worth it. This is not, like, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
Nothing is going to happen. Or something's going to happen, but it's not going to be the end. So if the bill doesn't get paid, it doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
Or, you figure it out. You're not just going to shut down and go, okay, I'm not going to do that, or whatever. That's not the mindset that I have. I'm not.
Well, and that's not focusing
that.
on that bigger picture
I'm
either,
just saying
right?
that it's not, I don't stress about that because
because it's not adding to the bigger picture. Like, honestly, you've helped me on that journey of changing my abundance mindset and stuff, because I was very much in a very limited kind of belief system when we first got together, and it's something that I've worked on, and I've taken classes, and I've learned from different mentors and stuff throughout the years, and have really expanded in that mindset. But I still had very much an attachment to the idea of money, but you actually helped me to loosen that attachment to money and to the bills getting paid and the freak out, and because you're always like, it'll get taken care of, and I really didn't trust that. It's like,
but you trust the universe, you trust God. So
well, and that's just it, right? Like, I wasn't looking at it as means I'm not trusting them. It's just, I don't trust your words right now that this is all going to work out. What is the plan?
All coming through.
Yeah, but I see it now as like, even how I react to things is how I'm contributing to the bigger picture.
Yeah. And here's another thing: it's those things, those reactions are also from other places too, right?
Yes.
They're not solely like you've seen this, or you've watched it on TV, or you experienced it in life, or your parents, or your uncles, aunts, whatever. There's an experience there that has led you to say, oh no, you need to worry because somebody else did.
Yeah.
And it's like, but what's most important is, here, like what is going on here
Yeah.
versus what isn't being paid.
Yeah. Well, and there is in, I believe it's Chinese writing, the symbol for challenge is the exact same symbol for opportunity, right? And you get to choose, is it a challenge or is it an opportunity?
Yeah.
And so in all of those challenging kind of moments, you can also just shift your mind to go, this is an opportunity for me to either grow, for me to challenge what limiting beliefs are coming up, to challenge.
I think that's great.
If this comes from my ancestors, then okay, can I show them that there's a better way to do it? Because I used to believe I had to heal things for them. And in my mind, it was like I have to go back in time to heal it for them. But now I'm like, oh, my cells are their cells. So me healing it in me is actually me healing it for them. But also it's going to bring it forward for the future. So
yeah, we've been doing a lot of talk and a lot of work on that. And I think if everybody, I wish everybody had that mindset where it's like we are on this cellular level, we're all connected.
Yeah.
And the more work we do, not trying to do it out there, and the work needs to get done, but the more we heal, the better off we all are.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we can fix each other just by fixing ourselves. And not fixing, but
not that we're a problem, but yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, coming to a peace with yourself will bring that to the rest of the world. And that's one thing that everybody always wants, right? Is peace in the world. Well, then start looking in the mirror and
well,
and not just say it, because here's another thing is you get, people that are like, no, but I do these things and I practice this, but it goes deeper than that, where it's, you have to embody it. You have to be it. You have to live it. There's no parent or boss that's watching inside of your head what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're not living that life, if you're not living your life in that full honesty, and you're in the back of your head, you're saying, you're projecting it as one way as, yes, I'm doing all these great things, but in your head you're like, oh, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. They're counteracting.
It's still
each
there.
other.
It's still there, and you're gonna do this, you're gonna spin. Yeah.
Well, and to come back to like this idea of world peace, right? Because you're right, a lot of people have this vision of, I want this world of peace, but I'm not going to forgive this jackass that cut me off 5 years ago, and I'm not going to start talking to my sister, and I refuse to forgive my mother, and this boy in grade 1, I'm also going to hold a grievance towards him because he should have known better, but everybody else should find peace and stop conflicting with each other. And so when you say it's an inside job, it really is finding all of those parts of you. And that's that journey of like walking on the edges of my love. It's finding all of those parts within me that aren't loving towards this kind of person or this kind of experience or whatever, and softening that and bringing it to a state of love where we can coexist in this world together in a state of peace. And it's so interesting to watch, to witness, and even to have witnessed it within myself, where it's like, I want peace. So will you guys fix yourselves, and you guys stop doing this, and you just shouldn't exist on this planet. This is what peace, because it's all in your own perspective as to what's peaceful, right? Or what's loving, of what's acceptable. And we turn on each other going, we need peace, but we're like...
And doing it in an angry way,
And doing it in a very angry way and being pissed off that these people are doing this and these people are doing that. And so I think when we're holding that bigger vision, it's who do I need to become for that vision to become a reality?
Yeah, I would agree. And it's not even it is, I just need to continue to evolve. And you're becoming, because you're evolving. You're not really becoming anything. You're evolving in your perfect state that you're in. For that
I suppose.
And you're learning. It's like a snowball. You're gathering that snow. You're gathering.
Yeah.
And I think what we all just need to have that idea that we do affect each other.
Yeah.
It's not, we all need to go through these things, and we all need to do this. We all need to do this dance. But at some point, if we want to have peace, we can't look at each other. We have to look in there. Where's the battle? The battle, as much as it is the world, it's right here.
Well, yeah.
In that mirror.
Absolutely.
And when you can resolve that, and we can all work on that, on ourselves, and go, I'm not going to look at the news and start blaming this person for how this country is or whatever. I'm just going to look at myself.
Yeah.
And what work do I need to do next? What's the next possibility or whatever for me?
Yeah. And even like when you say what work do I need to do next, I've even shifted my wording on that to what work do I get to do next, right? Like absolutely. It's because it used to feel like I am the only person who's doing this healing work. I'm the only person who's going within, and that may or may not have been true. It was just my perception of it. And I thought, what a burden this is to have to heal all of these parts. Like when I first started walking on the edges of my love, it was like, oh my God, I'm doing this for everybody. Like
I'm the one.
And it just, you feel like, oh, why does it have to be me? Why can't everyone else just start healing so I don't have to heal so much? And even that idea was kind of twisted in the sense that, so if I have this awareness, if I have access to the books, to the learnings and whatnot, why wouldn't I want to be that person? Why wouldn't I take this opportunity to be the person to go, well, I'll just start healing it. If you can't right now, I'm just going to start healing it. I'll go in myself and I will heal all these parts of myself. And it might help you. It might not. But either way, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be healing myself. And that's what's most exciting to me.
Yeah, and I remember us having a conversation about that and looking for those results. And it's like, just putting it out there, right, doesn't matter. At some point, even this conversation, this going out is going to have an effect on somebody. It's having an effect on us right now. Yeah. Yeah. But it's not looking for, where's my stuff? Yeah. Where's my stuff? Give me my star. Give me my...
Well, and I think that was, at one point, I think that was probably both of our mindsets is like, what is the result that we get for doing the work? And we've been taught that throughout, school or with our parents or whatnot. Good behavior is going to get some sort of result for you. So, and we do it and we go, okay, so where's my result? And then we get something shitty that happens and we're suddenly like, well, why is this showing up? I was good.
It reminds me of the conversation we were just having, I think, last week about how we get paid for our time. And, how important and somewhat irrelevant time is, but how that whole structure is. And it's, you put a dollar value on your time, not your labor, not your body, not this, not that. It's your time. You get paid so much for the hour that for your time. Yeah. And, like I said to you, I said, if I owned a business, I would want to change the pay structure. Why we're paying people for their time? Sure. Why can't we pay people for their contribution or what they bring versus the time? Not, and I think that's another thing that it is all part of that, where it's like we put too much emphasis on this reward system. Yes. Versus our contribution to society.
Yeah. And I mean, it's honestly the earliest indoctrination that we get as little people. Right? Like we learn to smile to get hugs. Yeah. We learn to clap our hands because it makes all the adults clap their hands, or we'll say a word and it makes mom happy or whatever. And the thing is, it's not like our parents are doing it maliciously to us. It's not like they're going, I'm programming this child to be how I want them to be. But it is like a natural way in which we all grow up, right? And we receive that love and we go, I want more of that. And whatever receives us love, then we're like, I'm going to do more of that. And if it doesn't receive us love, well, I better not do that. And if I receive money, even greater. And if not, then I won't do that. And like it really is based on what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what gets me the results I want versus what doesn't get me the results that I want. And we personalize it a lot instead of just going, this is just a neutralized reaction to everything that I am based on all these things that don't actually reflect who I am.
Yeah.
And that's a hard one to understand at times too. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that is the picture, right? That is the all-encompassing. What does the big picture look like? The big picture is always evolving.
Yeah.
Be willing to evolve your picture. Be willing to start over if you need to on your picture, or erase part of your picture, or, you know, even when we erase part of the picture, there's still going to be that faint line, that ghosting that happens. But that's okay. That's all part of, and even layering.
Yeah.
It's all part of the journey. And I think that's what we need to remember, is that the picture is just that. It is the view of that mosaic that's part of a bigger thing for our existence here.
Yeah. Yeah. As you were talking about that, it reminds me of that video where I think it starts in the eye and then it kind of like projects out, and like, so you go up into the universe or whatever, and then you go back in, and then you go into the eye, and you go down all the way into the cells and everything. Yeah. And that's kind of what it's reminding me of. It's like the universe would be that big picture.
But there's bigger,
and then there's bigger, and there's bigger, and there's bigger. But for the eye that's just looking out, like looking at the sky, you think that is as big as the picture gets, right? And then it's you zoom out. There we go. You zoom out and you see more, and you see more, and you see more, and also you can see more by going within and seeing all of the universes that exist within us.
Yeah, it's just as big on the other side.
It's that torus, right? Yeah. So, yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. What is your big vision that you hold? What is your big picture that you're trying to step into? And what are your struggles around holding that big vision for yourself and holding on to that big picture for yourself? Or do you have a picture in mind right now that you're like, this isn't actually what I want? Yeah, reach out to us at info@compassionwithkatherine.com, and we'd be happy to answer your questions or support you in any way.
Or have, again, like I said last week, you know, have you here and we can have a conversation. We can have a Zoom call or whatever the case may be. It's always worth the conversation and elevating our experience collectively, right? So
thank you everybody for joining us here for another Sacred Exchange, and we look forward to connecting with you next week. Have a great one.
Take care, folks.